Hello everyone, you're welcome back to Lizama Stitches. My name is Amaka. In this tutorial, we are going to be learning how to make a ruffled neckline. Now, if this looks like what you would like to learn, keep watching and also turn on the notification bell so that you will be notified whenever I upload new videos. So let's get started. So this is the fabric I'll be using for this tutorial. I've already cut it out. Now the fabric is on fold. You see how it is? You see? It's on fold. I've already cut it out. So if I measure it from here, like this is 4.5 inches. Now this is 4.5 inches on fold. I have 4 inches plus half inch seam allowance, which I'm going to use to sew it. Now while the length from here, while the length of this fabric is the length of this fabric is 55 inches. 55 inches, but I measured. Now the length that I want to cover from one part of my body to the other part is 21 inches, but what I have here is 55 inches. So you can actually do more than 55. You can make it as long as you want for you to have enough ruffle. You understand? But what I have here is 55 inches, and so this is 55 by 4.5 inches. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to fold it into two again. You see what I'm doing? I folded it into two again. Now see what I'm doing again. I want to trim it. I want to trim the edges. So now this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to measure 2 inches from here, and I'm just going to mark. You see what I'm doing? 2 inches. From here, I came up by 2 inches, and I'm connecting it to this point. I want this part to be smaller, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to trim it. I'm going to cut it. Now, this is optional. If you can decide not to do this, not to trim yours, you can decide not to trim yours. You can decide to use it just the way it is. You take it to your sewing machine, you sew with half-inch seam allowance. You can also decide to trim it. It all depends on how you want to use it. So I'm going to trim this. So now the next thing I'm going to do is this. I'm going to take this to my sewing machine, and I'm going to sew here with half-inch seam allowance. I'll sew here with half-inch seam allowance to this point, and this part will still be open. Here will still be open. So I'm going to do it and show you the outcome. So after sewing, this is what I have. The next thing I'm going to do is to turn it to the right side. So the next thing I'm going to do is to iron. After turning, I'm going to iron it. Now see how I'm going to iron it. The seam allowance is going to be at the middle, not by the side. It's going to be at the middle. So I'm going to iron it flat. You see the wrong side? You see it? I've ironed it down. So the next thing I'm going to do is this. I have my elastic band here. So I have my elastic band. This is the elastic I'm going to be using for this thing. So I'm going to measure. I said from one side of my body to the other side of my body that I want to cover with this thing is 21 inches. So I'm going to measure. I'm going to subtract 1 inch from that 21 inches, which means I'm going to be cutting out 20 inches. So this is 20 inches. I'm going to be cutting out 20 inches. So I have my elastic here. I'm going to pin it, and I'll pass it into this hole. So I'm going to pin it down to secure it so that the elastic will not run into the casing. So after that, this is what I have. So this is what I have. Now I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and I'm going to push in this seam allowance and sew here, you know, just to tidy it up. Finish. I'll sew here and I'll sew here. I'll push in the seam allowance and I'll top stitch. I'll just sew it. I can also do it with my needle and thread. So you see what I have here. Now you can also decide to use more. If you want your ruffles to be fuller than this, you can add more length. You can use more length, like increase the length of your satin. You understand? So that's just it. Now I'm going to, after sewing this, I'll take it to my mannequin and show you how to cross it. Now this is our ruffle. Now you can actually style this in different ways. Now this is not for this outfit. This is not for this outfit. I just made it for the sake of this tutorial. Now you can style this in different ways. You can use it like this. You know, you can do something like this. You know, something like this. Depending on how you want to use it. You know, you can just be creative with this thing. It's very nice. You understand? You can use it in different ways. You know, you do something like this. But for the sake of this tutorial, this is how we are going to use it. So you see this part, you're going to put it inside, like you're going to hide it. I've sewn it, but you still need to hide it. So you're going to fold it in, you know, you fold it and you tack. So I'm going to illustrate with pins. You fold this part in and you tack. So that's just it. You see how it is? Is it not beautiful? So this is just it. So that's just it with this tutorial. If you found this tutorial helpful, please click on the like button. Share this video with your friends. Share this video in your sewing groups. Subscribe to my channel if you've not done so. Feel free to ask questions. I'll be in the comment section to answer all your questions. We've come to the end of this tutorial. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.